Welcome back to the channel, Fix It or Sink It, episode 2. You join me on board my 24-foot yacht project, and you might notice I'm not outside. That's right, we've moved the boat inside now, and that is going to make working on board a lot easier because we have had over 2 weeks of solid rain and now the temperatures are plummeting. So if I was to keep this outside, nothing would happen. The boat is simply too small and the jobs that we have to do are not possible while she is outside. So we're indoors, and this is great because it means we can get on and really get stuck into the boat. But first, I'd like to give you a bit of history on the boat because I've been doing some digging. Now, when I got this boat, I knew nothing about it. I knew the make and model, but I didn't know its age, and I hadn't got any history. I have no paperwork or anything with this boat. So I had to do a bit of digging. And it turns out that we have a 1973 Hurley 2470 bilge keel version, which is 52 years old. So I did a bit of research into Hurley and I found the Hurley Owners Association, which is amazing. If you own a Hurley and you want some information, have a look at the association. They've got a website and they've got a Facebook page. It's all free to join and it's packed full of really interesting information. So a bit of digging on board and a bit of digging in the association, and I found out a lot about this boat. So Hurley started in the late 1950s, and during the 1960s and 1970s, Hurley were one of the UK's most well-known boat builders. Made famous by George Hurley for 30 years of boat building, not just the Hurley, but the Silhouette range as well. More than 8,000 Hurleys were built in Portsmouth between the 1950s, late 1950s, and when the company closed in 1974. And you'll still see a lot of these boats out there on the water, sailing, having adventures. And that is due to the superior strength and boat building techniques that Hurley applied whilst building these yachts. Sadly, some of them are in quite a poor state as well, like mine, and do require significant restoration to make them seaworthy again. And a few inevitably will have been dismantled since the 1950s. So my boat is a Hurley 2470, designed by Ian Anderson, and it's a stretched version of the Hurley 24. That was a really popular design. These boats entered the production line in 1972, and 160 of these were built until the company closed in 1974. So you see, the Hurley Boat Owners Association is fantastic, and you can find all this information out on the association. Looking into my own boat, bear in mind I had no paperwork with this boat and I wanted to know some history. I wanted to know how old it was and whatever else I could find about it. So I started digging through the association and I found they have lists of all of the boats that Hurley manufactured and sold. So I got the list off the association of the 2470 boats and had a look through it. Great, there's a list of 160 boats, but which one is mine? So each boat has its own individual serial number and each boat has its own individual sail number. So I needed to find one of these. So I started my search for the serial number because the sail number, which is printed on most of the mainsails, can be a little bit deceiving if that sail has been sold to another boat owner and the sail number has transferred over and then you've got a mismatch. So I started looking around. Where will I find a serial number? Well, I looked around the hull and found nothing. So I started to look around the inside. Some people said, have a look underneath the seats. You might see it scribbled in pencil. No, nothing. I looked behind cupboards. I looked in the head. I looked in the forward cabin. I've looked everywhere and I could not find a serial number. So I thought, never mind. Let's pause on that and let's start to sort the boat out, ready to get her ashore. Because this boat was afloat when I purchased her. Now, the boat came as seen with everything on board. So I had to completely empty the whole entire boat. I was looking in the cupboards and I was looking under the floorboards and just getting to know the boat and know the kind of project that I'd taken on. That was when I looked under the floor. And under my floor are sections of floorboards. Lifted those out just to have a look at the bilges and see if everything was dry and good as it should be down there. And when I turned over one of the floorboards, stamped on the edge of the floorboard is a serial number. Great, I found the serial number. So I took that serial number and cross-referenced it to the 160 boats on the list that Hurley produced of the 2470 range. And bingo, sure enough, there it was. My serial number, my boat, my sail number. Afterwards then, I lifted up the mainsail, cross-referenced the number on the mainsail, and that matched as well. So this was sold on the 12th of October 1973 to Windermere as boat number 6097 and sail number 96. So from knowing nothing about this boat, I've got a whole heap of information. Sadly, there's no service records or anything like that. Those are long gone. But I've got the information that I need to know. She's strictly a cruising boat and she won't win any races, but she's a tough little sea boat with really generous accommodation. They built two versions of these, the twin keel and the fin keel. I've got the twin keel. Now that gives an advantage of greater flexibility to moor the boat in drying harbours. But the disadvantage, of course, is slightly impacted sailing ability. But for what I want to do, that's not going to bother us at all, because we'd rather have twin keels and dry this boat out in the harbours near to where we live. This boat is perfect for my family. My wife and I have enjoyed sailing for many years, and now it's time to introduce our daughter to the wind. Our dog will come along with us too for some doggy adventures. But before we do that, we've got lots of work to do on board to make her seaworthy. And believe me, there's a lot. Let me show you around. Welcome on board. I'm going to give you the quick guided tour. So we're up on deck, which you will have seen in episode 1, which is where we dropped this mast. So if you haven't seen that, pop back and watch that one, because that's quite interesting. Well, a lot of you will have seen this. So we're up on the forward deck here. We've got a really nice size forward deck. Anchor locker here, which is a really good size for a 24-foot yacht. Bow roller there, and obviously fairleads and cleat. Spin round. Here we've got the hatch down into the forward cabin. This isn't original. This would have been a circular hatch from new, but at some point in the past somebody has made this lovely hardwood surround and fitted a proper Lumar style hatch there, which is really nice. It needs a lot of work. It's absolutely pouring water through and it needs a good sand down and varnish. But that's our hatch. Then we've got mast will sit here. Not bad side decks for the size of the boat. Water filler point here. And then what we really liked about it was the size of the cockpit, because we are a family of 3 plus 1 being the doggy. And our daughter is quite young, so we wanted a nice safe boat for her. And this is a really nice deep safe cockpit, big enough for all of us as well. And we've got storage under here. Storage here, that would, I think, have been the gas locker at one point. And then more storage here. She's filthy. She needs a good clean. Under there is the engine bay. I'll show you that in a minute. Companionway down into the main cabin. We've got instruments which are just not going to work. A compass that you can't read. Some good winches, which hopefully just a good service will get those going. Sliding companionway hatch. A solar panel here, but it's coming apart, so I've got some ideas to take that off and perhaps put a bigger or better solar panel on there. And then down into the cabin. We are in quite a mess. Let's have a look. So then, here we are in the main saloon. We've got a full-length bunk seat here. Seat that turns into a bunk if you want it. Lovely cubby holes for storage, which are great. Lots of mould to get rid of fast. And electrics, which leave a lot to be desired. And then on the other side, we've got a quarter berth here, so you can sit at this and then lay out into a 6-foot berth if you want it. Very similar, lots of mould, lots of grime, but nice storage lockers. This is another solar panel that came with the boat, which I might mount. It's a solid one. These are my A-frame timbers that you would have seen in episode 1. Watch episode 1 if you haven't. I've got my boom here, my tripod, and then under there is the galley. Spirit stove. There's a sink under here, a cupboard here that falls open all the time, so I've had to tape it shut. Another cupboard under here, which you're going to have to take out. Storage behind there, which all needs sorting out. And then windows, lovely blue windows outside. They may have to go. Looking forward, we've got the head here. We've got a hanging locker here. And then we've got the forward cabin. Now, this is a standard V-berth arrangement. Excuse the mess. We've just had to dump everything inside whilst we were moving the boat. But this is standard V-berth. You've got a fill in here to make it into a double if you want it. And then you've got loads of storage under here. And her water tank is under there, behind here, which we'll have to have a look at because I have no idea what condition that is in. Storage up here, which needs work. And then above us, we've got the hatch. Oh, there we go, that we were just looking through. And then here we've got the head. I'm not going to get too close, but we've got the head, which needs to be ripped out and completely redone. And then, as you would have seen in episode 1, we've got our wiring here coming down from the mast. This is the mast base. If I spin round, you can see our companionway steps going up into the cockpit. And these are really nice fiberglass molded. A lot of the early Hurleys I've learned had plywood steps coming up here. So quite pleased we've got these because they're really nice. There's going to be a lot of interior changes as well. We want to get rid of a lot of this dark wood because it really drags the boat down. And anyway, we'll come on to that in another episode. We've got old engine controls, old switch panels which do work but are going to go. And here we have the engine bay. Oh my goodness, do we have some work to do. We have got a absolute spider's web of cables and wires and everything you don't want laying around. And there's no engine. Oh dear, who stole my engine? And we've got access there, and then if we come up on deck here, we've got access into the engine bay from there as well. So we've got quite good access, but a lot to do down there. So here we are underneath the boat now as well, and a bit of a giveaway that we have no engine. We also have no prop. We do have a nice prop shaft though. Cutlass bearing feels okay. Rudder, which will all need a good check over. I want to check the bearings in it, check the rudder tube. Of course, twin keels here and here. Which are really deep. They're about 4 foot on this boat, which is really deep for a bilge keeler. Way too much anti-foul on the hull. And then we've got blue line that's been painted in the past and is all peeling off. So that needs addressing. The hull itself is original gel coat, so I'm hoping that's going to polish up really nicely. The name is going. I'm going to get that off. Yeah. She is. Oh yeah, we've got a repair to do over here. Where is it? Here. On the rubbing strake. That one's sorting out, so we need to get close up to that and have a good look, see what's going on there, see if we can repair that. glue and screw that back together. And all of these through holes, these are Blake's. That's a Blake's as well, I would imagine, looking at the grate that's over it. But here we've got a standard, which should be a DZR through hull, but that's going to be checked. Well, every single one of these has got to be checked. There's another one further aft here, which I did just peek inside and it looks pretty grotty. That needs to be checked, probably all replaced. Anode, which is totally dead, it's been anti-fouled over, covered in barnacles and worm and everything, so that's got to go for a nice new anode. But that's one of the very last jobs. Yeah, so there we got bilge keels. We've got some issues with the bilge keels that we need to address, and we've got some issues up on deck that we need to address. Two very big issues that we have to sort out with this boat, and that's not including the engine or anything like that, so plenty to get on with. So let's crack on. Well, that's enough of me rattling on. Let's get some work done, shall we? I think the first thing we need to do is sort everything out inside, and I want to get this soft furnishings out, have a look at those. My wife said she could probably stitch those back up and give them a good wash. But let's get them out, let's have a look at them, empty out this cabin of everything that we don't want lay around so that we can get all of the boards up and start ripping out some wiring, I think. Oh, that stinks. That's all of those cushions out. She's sopping wet with water here. Absolutely soaked. So we've got a leak coming in here somewhere that we'll have to investigate. This side is a bit damp as well. So there's definitely a couple of leaks going on. This wood fell off. I've got lots of issues here. This can all come off. This is what we want to look at the moment, get this wiring out. Battery. Right. That's given us a bit more space, but I think I want to do the same in the forward cabin and get all that upholstery out as well. Right, let's get going. Great. One empty forward cabin looks better already, but we're flooded. Again, soaking wet, cushions are all soaked. Everything is just sodden, but I know where this leak is. We've got a water tank under here. I mean, it could be that water tank as well. That doesn't look very good. I want to get this up anyway to have a look inside, see what's going on in there. So that will give me the opportunity to seal that rim as well. So if there is any water sloshing around in there and coming through, I can deal with that. I can check all of these, make sure that they're all sealed. But I know that that hatch is pouring through. I know it's absolutely leaking like a sieve. So that all needs to come out, which isn't a bad thing because cosmetically It's not very good, and it would be nice to get some sort of trim on this once it's all back in properly and dry. I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's head that that is leaking. That is absolutely shot. That's going to be pouring water through as well, so that needs to be sorted out. That looks pretty good. That one's probably okay. Could be another potential leak up there and there. That looks okay. Other than scruffy, we look okay under there. So I think we have water coming through here. I know water is coming through the hatch and potentially this seal, but I want to take that out anyway. Right, let's crack on then. That's the forward cabin. So I needed an area just to put my toolboxes and everything, because a bit of a work area. So I thought I'll put my tools out there and then I can work in the saloon area first. And we can start having a look at one of the very first jobs. So the last thing I want to tackle at the moment are some electrics. So we've got space here now. We can see what we're doing, but there's wires everywhere. Don't like these, don't like this. And then I think under here, I've got a battery there. I've got some wires. You can see that in there. In there. So I want to disconnect all the electrics and start ripping everything out. And I know under here as well, there's more. Because, well, we're dealing with things like this. Just wires pushed in. Terminals that go nowhere. Wires that I don't know what they do, where they go. Everything's all like, I mean, there's 3 wires onto that earth. There's loads onto that positive. There's another one that was just pushed in. I've got taped up joints with chocolate blocks all over the place. That's holding wires together. I've got bad connections. And I mean, that shouldn't be positioned there. That's in the wrong place. That I don't like there. So yeah, let's get all these electrics at least disconnected. And then we'll start chopping everything out, I think. We've even got household earth cable here. Solid core earth cable by the feel of it. These are going to the solar panel charge controller, which is here. But that's going to go. I've got a new charge controller on the way for that. VHF I don't want positioned there. So let's crack on, get some of this wiring out. Okay, let's get all this disconnected. Nothing's going through any battery isolators. At least we do have some fuses, but I don't know what these are all powering. So snip, 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 get rid of those, get rid of that, get rid of that. Here we go. Well, that didn't take long, did it? Oh my goodness. Look at the state of the... Oh, what is this? Oh my. Yeah. Yeah, that's all going to come out. I've got water down here. which is going to be rainwater because she hasn't been afloat for a while. All right, we got one battery out quick enough. Let's get the other one out. I did think that would take a little bit longer than that. That can come off. That can come off. Right. Something here. Snip. Something here. Snip. Really tight wire there. And we've got an earth. Another earth. A loose earth. And then these two big household wires. I don't know where these are going. I don't know where anything's going. It's full rewire. It's out. And within seconds, we've got the two batteries out. I don't know the age of these, but that's 70. Oh no, it's a 60 amp hour, and that I would say is 100 amp hour. Looking at the size difference, I do know that the lights were all working and everything. We've got a green light on this one, no indicator on this one at all. But I'll put the voltmeter on them both anyway. Give them a good charge. Maybe I can salvage them and keep using them. At least if they just do a little bit until I can get a pair of new batteries. We'll see. At least they're out. Now this is the situation I'm currently in. We've got more wires down here. Pipes that are just blanked off. Old battery isolator switches, which are just absolutely knackered. So I want to get everything out. So I'm going to concentrate on here first and here. I don't know what anything does. So I'm basically going to be completely rewiring this boat. It should only really be a simple system. We're just looking at lights, equipment in terms of a GPS, a depth sounder, and whatever other navigation equipment. Obviously engine wiring has to go in, but I haven't got an engine at the moment, so I'm going to take all of the old engine wiring out, do away with all of that, and then when I do get a new engine, that can go in brand new. Battery cables, I'm not trusting those battery cables that we've just found. Those are all coming out. New isolation switches, I'll have to get those. I'm not going to use these switch panels. I'm going to get new switch panels. So yeah, the whole lot has just got to come out. Take everything out and start again. It's going to be a lot easier. Let's come in. Got it. The state of that. Yuck. Ugh. Bin. Well, we've got a lot of work to do on these electrics. I think I'm going to call it a night. So thank you very much for watching episode 2 of the yacht project. And please do like, comment and subscribe. Subscribing makes all the difference to me. So subscribe to my channel. You'll be notified of every single episode that I upload. And it'll be great to see you all in the next one for episode 3. Thank you for watching.